So the last 2 quarters, our cash flow break even has been under 50, which means, again, we can cover our capital program and our dividend going forward at under 50. And right now, oil prices are $55 versus the $42 that we saw last year.
How much of the cash that you're making are you going to reinvest? I know it's hard to do for larger companies, but like E&Ps are looking at 80%, for example.
Yeah, well, we're not an E&P. We're a global company. We have a downstream business and a chemicals business, and we have a track record of delivering cash flow to our shareholders, unlike many in our sector, right? We've increased our dividend 33 straight years. We increased our dividend 8% last year. We've also bought back shares 13 out of the last 17 years. So we have a track record of generating excess cash and not over-investing. There have been too many companies in our sector who've been trying to grow too fast and haven't generated the cash and the returns for investors, and that's part of the reason why the sector is out of favor with investors. But I don't think we've been one of those companies. We've been very good at generating excess cash and rewarding our shareholders with a steadily growing dividend. And when we have excess cash, for example, if oil prices are higher than $50 or $60, we have the ability to buy back shares.
What else are you going to do with your cash? What's your appetite right now for more M&A?
Well, first, we're proud that we were the first to announce and close the transaction, right? We announced the Noble Energy acquisition in July. We really showed the way for the industry on how to do it on an equity basis and with a low premium. We closed it very quickly. We've been operating here for several months. We're really happy with the assets that we acquired, with the people who have joined our company, and it's accretive to all of our financial metrics. So we feel really good about that. I do think you'll see more consolidation in the industry. Whether we participate in that, I won't speculate about that. We certainly don't have to do an acquisition. We have a great portfolio and we're very well positioned. We have a very high bar, but if we see something that we think is in the interest of our shareholders, of course, that's something that we may choose to do.
At what point do you think you return to the aggressive growth targets that you had in the Permian that you had to kind of put aside because of the pandemic?
Yeah, so you're right. We have paused in the Permian because the world doesn't need more barrels, and we didn't want to spend more capital to add barrels into an oversupplied market. But the resource is there and the opportunity is there when the conditions are right. And we expect those conditions. We don't know exactly when they will be, but those conditions will come to us in the future. So our growth rate in the Permian was an outcome of a very disciplined investment program, and it's offsetting other parts of the company. So we're a big company. We're not a pure play E&P. We're not a pure Permian company, but we have a very attractive Permian position. We have this advantage royalty position. We're as efficient as anybody as we are there. And so when the conditions are right, you would expect us to go back and increase investment, and we can get back onto a trajectory like we were before.
Help me understand what those conditions look like.
Yeah, it's very simple. I mean, we need to get control over the pandemic and be on a pathway to a sustained economic recovery. We need to see inventory levels get back to a more normal range. And then we want to have an idea of what OPEC Plus is going to do. They have a lot of barrels, obviously curtailed right now. So when those conditions are right, and we could see that here again, maybe second half of the year or early next year, that'll be appropriate time for us to potentially go bring investment back to the Permian and other locations.
And if you do bring it back to the Permian, do you expect it to be with the same kind of aggressiveness that you guys were targeting before, or has the mentality around how to allocate kind of shifted with the pandemic?
So again, we never felt we were doing aggressive growth. We felt we were doing a very disciplined investment program. And look, we're going to continue to be disciplined with our capital. And so it'll be a steady buildup. It'll be an appropriate pace, and the production will be an outcome of those investment decisions. We're really focused on two things: higher returns and lower carbon. We have to generate higher returns to attract investors to the sector, and we need to do it in a lower carbon way over time. The Permian contributes to both of that. It can generate high returns, and it's a low carbon intensity barrel. So it's a good place for us to invest, but we're not in a rush. We're not trying to outgrow. We are trying to deliver higher returns and lower carbon over time.